Joining us is friend of the show, Bill Scher. He is a senior writer at Campaign for America's Future. Bill, I've been following with great interest two seemingly conflicting sets of data. On the one hand, we hear from both the right, but also even from some more progressive polling agencies now, that the landscape is not looking particularly positive for Democrats in the 2014 midterms. At the same time, every single issue poll that is released, whether it's does the government have a responsibility to provide some basic level of health care to everybody, position on abortion, which for the first time nationally, more than 50% say should be legal, gay marriage, wealth inequality, the positions of the overall electorate seem to strongly favor Democrats over Republicans. So is the data wrong, or is there some kind of disconnect between the issues and the candidates?
I don't know if I think either is true, actually. I think the country is basically a center-left nation right now. It is still it is still recoiled from the failures of Bush. They're not embracing right-wing talking points, anti-government talking points. They still want government to do something on healthcare. They want government to do something to help the middle class. So I don't see a big ideological shift rightward in year 6 of the Obama era, but you can't match that up with the midterm elections because the midterm elections are not everything. You know, the Senate races, not every Senate seat is up. The races that are up and are competitive are currently held Democratic seats in more right-leaning states. It's just a quirk of the calendar right now. These are the states that happen to rotate up in this particular year. And the House is a hard bellwether because so many districts are drawn to be safe for either party. You only have about, I believe it's 47 districts that are remotely competitive, have a mix of Democrats and Republicans around 50%. And that's not just a matter of House state legislators, being cute with the lines, though they do that. But there's also a kind of natural sorting that's been going on where just liberals go to California and Republicans go to Alabama. These demographic shifts have been happening over time. So you can't look at a midterm election as being a total reflection of the national ideological mood because you have these other factors that get in the way.
Do you agree, Bill, as someone who, of course not by me, but by some, has been accused of being a pro-Obama no matter what guy? I would never say that. Do you agree that when we look overall at Congress, that because so many Democrats are really kind of part of this plutocratic system where why would they really change the system that got them elected in the first place? They'd rather say liberal sounding stuff, but for the most part just be these kind of pro-corporate Democrats. Practically speaking, would there be that much of a difference, given that it would be the last 2 years of President Obama's presidency, if there was a significant shift to the right in the House and Senate after the midterms?
Is there a shift to the right after the midterms?
Yeah.
I mean, we already have a very difficult environment for legislating right now.
Sure.
The House is essentially, not a total black hole, but close to it for most of Obama's prized initiatives. They've got a few things eked out. In the past year, we did repeal the heart of the Bush tax cuts. We did expand the Violence Against Women Act for gays and lesbians. We did get through some key nominees through the Senate on labor relations and consumer finance protection boards. That lets Obama do some stuff for unions and to rein in Wall Street. But I'm not a pessimist about what could happen on immigration this year. I think immigration is possible. I think minimum wage is possible. So I'm not saying everything is dead on arrival here. But let's face it, the lion's share of what Obama would like to do, given his druthers, he's not going to get to do as long as there's a Republican House. So if Republicans take over the Senate, that doesn't change much. It's still essentially a matter of it's still a polarized situation that Obama's not going to get much done in either way.
So then do the last 2 years start to become a positioning time for whoever runs next for the Democrats from the point of view of the Obama administration? In other words, if they know that practically they'll have trouble passing big legislation, does it become more important to position the party properly for whoever will eventually be the Democratic nominee, or is that not much of a concern?
I think the bigger concern for Obama, regardless of what happens in the midterms next year, I mean, look, if something very unexpected happened, Republicans really shoot themselves in the foot. They shut down the government again. And here's a sleeper issue you might not be aware of: the transportation, the highway trust fund runs out in the fall. If Republicans can't find a way to finance that, and all the road and bridge projects freeze before Election Day, might that cause a backlash against Republicans? That's out of left field right now. But let's say in a normal situation, the Republicans control the House and maybe the Senate. What does Obama do? He's going to focus, as he has been, a lot on foreign policy and a lot on executive action. And there's some big executive action things he can still do. Right just today, he's talking about extending overtime pay for a lot of workers. But the big kahuna is climate. He is working very hard to get climate regulations done, capping carbon emissions for power plants by 2016. It's a very protracted process. He has to be very delicate about it so he doesn't cause a massive political backlash. But I think he is more concerned properly about closing out his time with points on the board and not just political jockeying for mere political ends that aren't related to policy.
Do you think that there's a risk, or let me ask it in a different way, in which area might a failure to do something or to be successful somewhere from President Obama most jeopardize Democrats going into 2016? In other words, with climate, my sense is if he tries and fails to do something significant on climate, it may not be a huge deal for Democrats in 2016, because who are they going to go to if they care about climate? The Republicans? I don't think so. What's the highest risk area right now for President Obama?
Well, I mean, climate is, but for a different reason. I mean, climate is incredibly complicated politically. I mean, there's a reason why it hasn't been done through Congress. Why it wasn't done through Congress when Democrats controlled Congress? You have a lot of Democrats in coal-producing areas. You have a lot of Democrats in oil-producing areas. It is not a slam dunk thing, regardless of what party's in charge. There's a lot of very tricky politics involved, and if Obama does it in a ham-fisted way, you could spark a very severe political backlash that could not only give Republicans control of Congress in 2017, but control the White House as well, and that could undo all sorts of things that Obama has done. So it's not something that he's taking on lightly. You can't just ram it through in the most perfectly liberal way possible. He has to be delicate about it, and I think he's trying to be.
Yeah, we learned you can't get healthcare through in the perfect liberal way either, right? I mean, that's certainly something we learned a few years ago.
Well,
Bill, yeah, go ahead.
Some people that might question that. I mean, you have an example of Australia. Australia did a carbon tax when the Labour Party, which is their Democratic Party, was in charge, and now that sparked such ire that they all got thrown out, and a completely virulent climate denier is now running Australia. So it's a real concern.
All right, Bill Scher, senior writer at Campaign for America's Future. Bill, always a pleasure to talk to you.
Same here. Take care.